never been done in the history of this state.
Interestingly, in Punjab, the AAP strike rate is even higher than that of the BJP. AAP strike rate in Punjab is 72, 80 leads out of 111. To form the government, they basically already formed the government, so there's nothing left, but 72% leads currently off the trends that are available, 80 out of 111. This is history, and the strike rate is better than BJP in UP.
So I'm calling AAP in Punjab a wave. I'm calling UP pro-incumbency, which means that the incumbent has been able to hold his own. In Punjab, it's just a wipeout of everyone else. Amazing.
Punjab, I think we don't have all the seats from Malwa region. Still, it is 80 out of 110.
So they could cross 100 out of 170.
It's a tsunami. It's a political tsunami in Punjab.
That's the right word. It's a tsunami Kejriwal style.
Let's show you what's happening in Goa. And in Goa, the BJP, out of the 21 leads that are available, is leading on 53% of the seats that they are fighting on. The Congress at this moment is leading on 12 out of 40. That's a strike rate of 30. Therefore, it's tricky in Goa,
15.
but it seems to be settling towards the BJP. Those are the leads at this moment.
You see, BJP leading in 19, Congress in 15. Remember, Goa will go down to the wire because seats will be decided by 500, 600 votes. But once the BJP is more than the Congress, the BJP 100% will form the next government in Goa. The MGP will go with the BJP in Goa.
So this is in Uttarakhand, where the BJP has a strike rate of 60%. They've got 39 leads out of 65, which essentially means that they're settled in Goa, in Uttarakhand as well. At this moment, it doesn't seem doubtful that they're settling into a good, comfortable spot. From the Congress's perspective, very difficult to pull back from this. 21 leads out of 65. Unless the trends themselves change, it's a tough asking rate.
And you can look at Manipur as well, where the BJP is again set to create history, become a majority government in Manipur for the first time. So in all the 4 states that the BJP has held power last time, they are at the moment either leading or all set to form a government. Goa is the only uncertainty that they have. Punjab is up all the way. So this is clearly, and the exit poll, spot on. Today, Pradeep Gupta has recovered 200 from the Battle of Bengal.
The BJP just hit 200. That's the first time that they've crossed the 200 figure very quickly from 100 to 200.
It's a wipeout.
287 leads. So the poll was right. And thank God for that. Thank God for that.
71 to 100 for 100 for Samajwadi Party, and that's
the only. And again, even in Goa now, a gap is building up. 21 is playing 12. TMC is 5. I want to tell our viewers that TMC Plus is one of the, or 2 of the TMC, Churchill Aramau and his daughter Velenka, and the other 3 are MGP. But once the BJP crosses the halfway mark there, then it's game, set and match. Interestingly, AAP is making its first ever seat in Goa as well as per those results. But clearly, even in Goa trends, while Didi's TMC may play kingmaker, that will only happen if the BJP comes below. The BJP has pulled ahead even in Goa. As of today, the Congress party is facing its worst ever nightmare.
I have this
being wiped
interesting
out.
data over here. Of the 224 seats, where there's a direct fight between the SP and the BJP, the BJP is winning 72% of those seats. The SP winning only 28. If this was seen as a bipolar fight between BJP and the Samajwadi Party, the BJP winning 162 out of the 224 at this moment with a strike rate of 72, showing that in this bipolar contest, it's Yogi who's carrying the seat.
3 stories coming in today, Rahul. Kaun banega challenger? Kejriwal spreading beyond Delhi. Story number 2, Yogi Adityanath and Mr. Modi call it double engine, creating history in Uttar Pradesh. BJP holding on despite so-called anti-incumbency. The third story is the decimation once again of the Indian National Congress. This is a bad day. If you can't capitalize even in the post-pandemic era on slowing economy, mehengai, berozgari, then you've got to ask yourself, what strategy do you have in these states? Goa, as I said, could still go either way, but in all the other states, the Congress has no story to tell today. This is a terrible day in the office for the Congress party. If they don't introspect now, then God knows when will this party introspect.
We can go region by region in Uttar Pradesh. In the 105 leads that we have in Western UP, the BJP is leading on 69. So it's a 69 place 36. Not as dominating a victory as they're seeing in Awadh and elsewhere.
That's because Rohilkhand is holding on to the Yadavs. That's the one
And
area.
Muslims, and Muslims.
Areas like Bareilly, Mainpuri is the other area. You see, there are 38 constituencies, Rahul, where Muslims plus Yadavs are more than 50%. The SP is holding on to those. There are 72 constituencies where there are 40%. They are winning half of them. But that's it.
Because the moment you
They are
come
not
to
winning anything beyond
Awadh,
that.
82 seats we have leads
That's
for. BJP
it.
leading in 61 of those, SP only on 19.
That's
so
right.
in central Uttar Pradesh, the SP not being able to mount a challenge to the BJP.
That's right. So
From
the moment you move out of the Muslim Yadav heartland, the election becomes one-sided. There is a consolidation of the non-Muslim, non-Yadav caste. The Jatavs to some extent staying with Mayawati, but non-Jatav Dalits significantly also
There
moving
was
to
so
the
much
BJP.
said about caste arithmetic in eastern Uttar Pradesh being unfavorable for the BJP. Look at what's happening. 90 leads currently, 61 of those to the BJP, only 20 to the Samajwadi Party, showing once again in eastern Uttar Pradesh, Modi Yogi carrying the day.
Absolutely. This is a indication of the fact of a strong vote of confidence in the present administration. You have to look at it as that. Ration, Prashasan, and as Rahul said, polarization is a triple whammy.
In Bundelkhand, of the 19 seats, we have leads for 15, the BJP leading on 13 of those, the SP only on 2, which again suggests that the exit poll is right because the polls showed a big victory for the BJP in Bundelkhand, which is what seems to be coming true on counting day.
And very interesting, the poorer parts of UP, the BJP doing even better. So at a time when you talk of mehengai, you talk of fuel prices, you talk of, all what I'm saying is music to my friend Rakesh Sinha's ears, but it is a truth.
Just time
आज आप जितना भी खुश हो जाओ, आपका दिन है
आप महंगाई बेरोजगारी पोस्ट सब बोल रहे हैं कि कोरोना के बाद
नहीं
क्या
है।
हुआ नो आई एम
नहीं, आप कह रहे हैं महंगाई नहीं है।
why what you are realizing why not the millions of people realize this means कि your realization is based on certain kind of myths and perception.
No, what is the myth? बेरोजगारी नहीं है।
महंगाई
नहीं है।
just let me say
let's not kid ourselves.
You just see the post corona scenario, the way the government managed the things, it is unparalleled. So people realize that what is happening in Europe, what is happening in other Asian countries, what is happening in India. Modi's
Rahul Srivastava wants to counter. Okay, let him respond.
Just
You
one,
he must be allowed to respond.
I'm concluding. Modi's leadership is an exemplary for the world community. Now he is a world leader. You don't realize. You want
Vishwa
to
Guru.
You want to.
Vishwa Guru.
No,
He's
India
a
is
stock
Vishwa
market
India is
guru. The market's
moving
up
up.
1100 points.
Okay,
Why you are mocking
can
on
I
the
ask my
Vishwa
friend
India is
Rahul?
Vishwa
Rahul,
Guru.
why don't you respond?
See, Rajdeep, I think, Sinha Sahab, I'll tell you, first you said that extra parliamentary thing. I think you were in opposition, you have become part of parliament, does not make people who are saying something on air as unparliamentary. The other element is, you cannot deny that there is unemployment and price rise just because people are not voting against you. That threshold they are not crossing. They did it in Gujarat also. They didn't vote against you. There were a lot of nota votes. They didn't cross it because of Modi. Similarly, in UP, perhaps you have reached that point where there is a large number of voters who are not crossing that threshold of voting against you despite a lot of hardships. And that is why do not say that their hardships don't exist.
No,
I think that will be a critical error you will commit.
I'm answering one sentence. Narendra Modi's governance has one characteristic feature that he made the people as stakeholders rather than clients. That's why even there are certain inaccuracies in the governance. They consider the efforts of the Modi, intent of the Modi, and his honest efforts 24, 365 days. This is the reason that people are connecting with Narendra Modi, not other regions. Because other people are just making propaganda. Has the Congress any alternative? Why I say extra parliamentary forces? Because in parliamentary democracy, it is the parliamentary parties which lead the movement.
I agree.
1974.
Let Rahul Verma respond. Rahul Verma, do you think this kind of result is as much because of the lack of credible alternatives as the Yogi Modi factor in Uttar Pradesh? The fact is, the SP associated with an element of Gunda Raj, Muslim appeasement, Mayawati associated with maybe a politics again of personal family corruption allegations, plus not looking beyond her own caste identity. The fact the Congress has no organization, it's all very well to suddenly say ladki hoon, lad sakti hoon. Is it that if today there was an alternative, people would have looked at UP, or there's this emotional connect that Prime Minister Modi has built?
I think both.
Both?
See, both. The reason is, it's not that BJP is just crossing the halfway
Yes.
mark, right? Given the kind of mandate they are going to get, it seems as of now in 4 states, right? Basically, they're coming back in Manipur, Uttarakhand, perhaps also in Goa and UP. So given that kind of mandate, you cannot deny that there is a emotive connect with the Prime Minister and perhaps in some cases with the state leadership as well. But it's also true, lack of credible alternative in other states. And this also makes, like, we should, what Rahul Srivastava was pointing out, it's very true that those difficulties are there. A party coming back to power does not mean that those difficulties don't exist. Think about 60s and 70s. Congress used to win elections, but we also had Hindu rate of growth growing at 2%. We had all the problems.
I have for the first time, and please listen to this very carefully, the data from each of the caste-dominated seats. For example, there are 143 seats in Uttar Pradesh in total, where the Yadavs form about 20% of the population. We have leads for 101 of those. In the Yadav-dominated seats, Rajdeep, the BJP is currently leading on 68, the SP only on 31. So even on Yadav-dominated seats, the BJP, because of the anti-Yadav consolidation, is doing well.
See, when we say Yadav dominated, what does it mean?
Everybody else polarizes against that.
That's right. And these are seats where we've taken 20%
Let's
and
come
more.
to the Jat-dominated seats. We have 36 leads. Remember, when I say domination, it essentially means not more than 50%, but that community is in a position to be able to influence the results of that seat. In the Jat-dominated seats, and so much has been said about Jharkhand, 26 leads for the BJP, SP, RLD only on 10. So they have 2.5 times the leads even in the Jat-dominated seats.
And may I just add to that our narrative has been so full of Jats because of the Kisan Andolan, they only account for 36 seats out of 403.
Of the Dalit seats, 160 Dalit seats, 119 leads for the BJP on Dalit seats, 31 of those to the BJP.
This
31 of those to the
This has
SP.
been one of the great stories of Uttar Pradesh in the last 7 years. The BJP's efforts to reach out to Dalit communities, especially non-Jat
Out of the
Dalits.
113 seats for which we have trends where Muslims are in big numbers, the BJP leading on 73, the SP on 36. Preeti, you were making a point?
So the point I was making is what we were talking about earlier. When we talk about, if you can just get that western, you're on the other side.
And I just want to tell our viewers, no, just a minute. Muslim-dominated seats means what? Muslims more than 20%.
Around 20%.
So it doesn't mean that Muslims are voting for the BJP. It means that everybody else is counter-polarizing. Yes, Preeti.
No, what I was talking about is we're talking about West UP. You're talking about the Jat vote. What we were in the beginning, one of the factors that there was no transfer of votes to Samajwadi Party. Look at the map there and you'd see a sweep. How many, even those seats that they have won, the alliance has won, you'll only see RLD. So the RLD is now leading on 8 seats in Western Uttar Pradesh. The Samajwadi Party not even in 1. So the Jat, who has gone and pressed the hand pump button, has done it for the RLD, not for the Samajwadi Party.
And this is the third time that's happened. Samajwadi Party has suffered with the BSP, it suffered with the Congress, and it's not been able to get its act together even with the RLD. There is no vote transfer, the fear of Yadav Raj. Pawan Kheda joining us. Okay.
Kumar Abhishek is at the BJP headquarters. I must tell our viewers, he is at the BJP office in Lucknow. He tracks Uttar Pradesh for us, runs UP Tak, is our Lucknow bureau chief. And even when everybody else was confused, Kumar Abhishek was clear that the BJP is going to do well. His margins were lesser than what we're seeing right now, but he was very confident. और लग रहा है कुमार आपका जो confidence था कि BJP जीत रही है और अच्छे से जीत रही है, ठीक वैसा ही निकल के आ रहा है. Vindication for you on counting day.
नहीं बिल्कुल राहुल, हम लोग जिस तरीके से घूम रहे थे और जो ज़मीन से फीडबैक मिल रहा था, जो साइलेंट वेव की बात हम लोग समझ रहे थे अंदर में, वो चाहे पश्चिम हो, चाहे मध्य अवध का इलाका हो या फिर अब पूरब के ईवीएम्स खुल रहे हों, मुझे लग रहा है कि जिस चीज़ को हम लोगों ने ज़मीन पर देखा वही रिफ्लेक्ट कर रहा है. पहले तो मैं आपको दर्शकों के लिए ये दृश्य दिखा दूं कि ये बीजेपी दफ्तर के बाहर का दृश्य है और तमाम जो इनके कार्यकर्ता और नेता हैं पहुंचने लगे हैं. लेकिन एक बात आपको दिखाई देगी कि बीजेपी दफ्तर के भीतर इनके एंट्री नहीं है, यानी कि जो भी जश्न मनाना है आप पार्टी दफ्तर के बाहर से मनाइए. लेकिन राहुल, जैसा कि हम लोग चर्चा कर रहे थे, इस बार 3 फैक्टर वो जो कि निकल करके भी आए हैं, वुमेन फैक्टर, एक्स फैक्टर की तरह काम किया है. साथ साथ आप देखेंगे जो जाटों की बात की जा रही थी, मुझे जो हमने ग्राउंड पर देखा कि वोकल जाट और जो वोटर जाट है दोनों में काफ़ी अंतर रहा है और मुझे लगता है कि वो निकल करके भी सामने आना चाहिए। और अभी आप दृश्य देखिए, ये पार्टी दफ्तर के भीतर का है, यानी कि यहाँ पर हर तरह के जश्न से फिलहाल खुद को अलग रखा गया है क्योंकि अभी रुझानों का वक्त है, लेकिन ठीक इसके बाहर जो बीजेपी के कार्यकर्ता हैं वो जुटने लगे हैं। यहाँ से जो मैं बताऊं कि कुछ देर बाद योगी आदित्यनाथ दिल्ली जा सकते हैं। तमाम जो बड़े नेता हैं वो धीरे धीरे पहुंचेंगे, जैसे ही ये जो रुझान है ये धीरे धीरे नतीजों की तरफ बढ़ने लगेंगे। लेकिन
क्लियरली लखनऊ में बीजेपी की खुशबू है। अभिषेक, बीजेपी की खुशबू नजर आती है लखनऊ में। पवन खेड़ा, इज ही नाउ बैक विद अस? Pawan Kheda joining us of the Congress party. Mr. Kheda, you were there in Punjab. You were hoping for the best. It's turned out to be the worst nightmare for you. You're being wiped out. Well, 18 seats only. Aam Aadmi Party up to 84. You were there in 2015 with Sheila Ji when Aam Aadmi Party made its big election in Delhi, swept 67 out of 70. Is it Delhi redux for you in Punjab? What went wrong?
I think I'd be in a better position to respond to this question later in the day. Let there be more clarity. Then we
There's
can analyze.
complete clarity, Pawan. You've been wiped out.
No, there is. I mean, just 2 hours, three rounds of counting. Let's wait. Well, the media has been writing our obituary ever since the last 10 years. So I mean, I wouldn't be in that big a hurry.
People writing the obituary, not the media.
No, nobody. It's not about obituary, Pawan. It's about. Do you at all believe that this could be, if these results hold? What does the Congress? Where does the Congress party go from here? Something has gone horribly wrong.
Yes, we need to analyze every aspect of this election, whether it's organization, whether it's campaign, whether it's communication. Each one of those aspects needs to be analyzed, and we'll do that.
You're being very
Sharma,
subdued. Very
Dinesh
subdued.
Sharma, with good reason.
With good reason.
This is not the day for Pawan Khera to be his bombastic self. It's not the right moment at all.